It's that kind of day.
It's Friday.
Dropping those beats.
It's a good day. We get to talk about another relationship episode, Todd, here on Your Daily Scrum with professional Scrum trainers Ryan Ripley and Todd Miller. This week it's been all about relationships. I feel like we should do like an open call-in line. Like, Todd, I'm not getting along with my, and see if we can help out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Love Lines remember that old show?
Yeah, you remember like all those, like growing up as a kid, you used to be able to call like a psychic and stuff like that, like 1-800 whatever, and it'd charge you like $9 an hour.
No, I never did that. So
I never did either. I just remember the commercials.
We need like 1-800 Scrum Master. Just call in with your Scrum Master relationship issues. Today, though, we have a different relationship that's front of mind. Todd, product owner and stakeholders. Where are we going with this one?
Yeah, this is so predominantly up until now, we've been talking about how a Scrum team collaborates amongst the Scrum team. Now as part of this series, we're going to look out a little bit and talk about a product owner and how they collaborate with their stakeholders. We got maybe another episode or two about collaboration to come, but this is an important one because there is a single event that there's collaboration between the Scrum team and stakeholders in the sprint review.
Yep.
I'm not sure that's enough though, Ryan. Actually, I know that's not enough just to collaborate in a sprint review with stakeholders as a product owner. That's certainly an aspect of it, but what else?
Yeah, something that we try to talk about in our Scrum classes is that, we do talk about it, is that Scrum is just a subset of what an Agile product owner, Agile product manager, what they do. Mm-hmm. And so there's a big world outside of the Scrum events. And, the product owner has to be in touch and in communication and collaboration with stakeholders. Mm-hmm. They're discussing all things product. It's input into the product backlog. Like, how would a product owner know what's best to build if they never talk to a stakeholder, right, Todd? Yeah,
100%. And I don't recall where I heard this. It could have been Simon Reindl, who's an awesome PST. I think if not, if someone listens to this, please give the credit where credit is due. But the view of the product owner as a stakeholder opinion aggregator.
Yeah.
Right. Almost like vacuuming up all the opinions of the stakeholders, but still they make the final decision. So you're listening to all these opinions, you're sharing their information on those kinds of things. So I always like that opinion aggregator. And it's like this view of a product owner vacuuming up all those opinions and then deciding what to do with it.
Yeah. And I mean, there is definitely the anti-pattern out there that I'm the product owner. I don't need to talk to other people. I know what my customers want. And no, you don't. This is an absolutely essential relationship. And it's not just like it's just not just one direction where the product owner is taking all the ideas from the stakeholders. I think a product owner is also accountable for stakeholder management, right? So that means setting the proper expectations, clarifying any assumptions that have been made, talking about budgets and timelines and schedules outside of the sprint review. Right? If there's something that comes up that the product owner has learned something about the progress of the product and the delivery, you don't wait until the end of the sprint to tell people bad news. Bad news does not get better with age. You tell it right away. And so there's a lot of things going on here that a positive relationship between the product owner and stakeholders makes a lot of these things that we've gone over much easier. If you don't behave this way, what happens, Todd?
Yeah, so going off of some of these classes comments, wasting money, right? Not getting to done, unclear expectations. There could be, I've seen wars, right, between product owners and stakeholders. Waste of time. You're missing the market. You're missing opportunities. That may not be collecting all the opinions that they need. So I think these are some pretty smart comments here by our class to put down. Missing market opportunities. I think I already said that. But.
Missing a change in what the stakeholders need, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have the pulse of your community, if you're not continually seeking input and having a dialogue and collaborating with your stakeholders and customers, and the world changes out from under your feet and you don't realize it, your product just became obsolete. And you see that all over the place, right?
Yeah, and you saying that, Ryan, makes me think we should add this misaligned expectations.
Yep.
Seen product owners get fired over this, right? Your stakeholders think one thing or think the trajectory of where you're going is one way and you are going in a different direction. And that might be okay, but you need to say something. And misaligned expectations around a release, around where you're going with the product, around anything really can cause a great deal of harm. And in fact, get a product owner fired, because I've seen it.
Yeah. So Scrum Masters, reach out to your product owners to see how their stakeholder management and relationships and collaboration is going. If it's suffering, help. Product owners, when's the last time you talked to a stakeholder? Maybe it's time to pick up the phone. People still make phone calls, right, Todd?
I think so. Pick up the Zoom.
Send a text, get over Zoom, do what you need, maybe Slack or Discord, whatever you're using. And let's get these conversations going, and let's really collaborate about the real things happening on our products.
Yeah.
You know what time it is, Todd?
End screen time, because it's Friday.
Friday. Check out the socials. We're LinkedIn, Twitter, pretty big. Like and subscribe. By the way, if you stayed till the end, you're going to hear first. The podcast feed is back. Every show on YouTube has now been put over to a podcast feed. So find Agile for Humans in your favorite podcast catcher, and you can now listen to just the audio, which is awesome. We saw a lot of requests. It is done. We'll make a more formal announcement next week. But for those of you that stuck all the way to the end, you know it first. For Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley, wishing you an awesome weekend. We'll be back Monday with a few more relationship ideas, and then we'll keep moving on with your questions on Your Daily Scrum. See you then.
Have a good week.